Hi there, my Empowered Empath Warriors. Welcome to another episode of the Self-Empowered Empath Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my first, official Self-Empowered Empath Podcast episode because I have uploaded a lot of the older episodes from my previous podcasts, such as that which was on Superconscious Success and that which I was hosting with my friend Lisa Campion. Well, now I've got another co-host, Tara Abundance, as Lisa had other commitments, and Tara and I are like super soul sisters. We are just so aligned, and we have both been through very similar experiences, and so we just really gel, and we are really excited to be bringing you this brand. Now, this particular podcast episode is going to consist of some solo episodes plus some interviews chucked in there. And sometimes it will be me solo, sometimes it'll be Tara solo, sometimes it'll be the two of us together. Sometimes we'll have uploads of our live streams that we're going to be bringing in shortly. There's so much incredible content that we are going to bring here to help you to power up as that empath, to help you to deal with those energy vampires, those narcissists, those people that are really making you struggle. And we're going to show you how you can set boundaries. We're going to show you how you can, deal with those karmic relationships and those twin flame relationships, how you can manage your emotions and manage your emotional dysregulation. So much to be found within this particular podcast, and we are so excited to be bringing it to you. Make sure you head across to Superconscious Success Academy, where we have a whole host of courses there. I'm actually also writing my first book as part of the Self-Empowered Empath brand, and that's called Becoming a Self-Empowered Empath, and that will be out very shortly, so keep an eye out for that. And we also have plenty of other content over at Superconscious Success, where you can get all of the information that you need to be able to ascend spiritually and to be able to tap into that spiritual side. You've got this, which is of course your emotional and your relationship side. And then we've got Ask Naturopath Jen and the Enlightened Wellness Academy, where we're dealing with your 3D health and wellness issues. Because I am actually a naturopath, that's where I initially started. Now I'm a spiritual life coach, I'm an empowered empath facilitator, and so much more. Anyway, let's get into today's podcast episode. And this is going to be a really good one to start off with because it really is something that is close to my heart. And you'll know as I go through this particular episode, you'll understand a little bit more about me. So this one is about codependency in relationships and how you can recognize the unhealthy dynamics and also how you can break the cycle of codependency. So let's start off by talking about what codependency is. Codependency in relationships is a complex and often destructive dynamic which can undermine the well-being of individuals and the overall health of a partnership. Now, codependency stems from the deep-rooted emotional issues and the patterns, and it involves an excessive reliance on another person for self-worth, validation, and emotional stability. Now, this is a topic that I feel so strongly about because of the fact that I am a recovering codependent empath that has spent my entire lifetime being a people pleaser and feeling like I needed to have the approval and the validation of other people. Now, I have to say, I am a bit of a slow learner because Source put me in front of person after person after person, ranging from friends to narcissistic boyfriends to family members that were supposed to teach me the lessons of self-worth, boundary setting, and powering up. But guess what? I missed every single sign. In fact, I missed a sign so much that a karmic relationship appeared in my life. And over a period of at least 6 years, I went through a painful period until I finally eliminated the codependency, discovered my self-worth, and learned to set boundaries. Yay! Now I'm happy to say I'm no longer a people pleaser. I have an incredible connection to my spirit team, and I have created the Self-Empowered Empath brand to help you do the same, hopefully without the difficulties that I had to go through. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to shed some light on codependency and the impact that it can have on you so we can pave the way for your healing and for you to have healthier relationship patterns. So when we talk about codependency, we're talking about an imbalanced and a dysfunctional relationship where one person, or both sometimes, actually rely on another person for emotional validation, for our self-esteem, and also for our sense of identity. Now, often this codependency will arise from early childhood experiences, such as growing up in dysfunctional families or being exposed to trauma of some kind. Now, although I came from the most amazing family, I did experience trauma growing up that I realised now played a massive part in my codependency issues, from extreme bullying throughout high school to verbally and emotionally abusive boyfriends and to friends that stabbed me in the back. And upon reflection, I also realised that us moving from place to place throughout my childhood, as great as an experience as it was, because we travelled a lot as we were children, from Aboriginal community to Aboriginal community, from town to town, shifting schools. And so I didn't have a stable group of friends. Now, because of this lack of stable friends and this lack of stability, it had me feeling a little bit abandoned, a little bit insecure, I suppose, and feeling like I needed to please people all the time, and that if I wasn't a people pleaser and if I didn't please them, then they weren't going to be friends with me. Now, as a codependent, you'll find yourself with low self-esteem. You'll struggle with setting and maintaining boundaries, as I mentioned just previously, but you will also find yourself putting other people before you. And you'll have a history of enabling and caretaking behaviours. Now, boy, did I tick all of those boxes. So let's go over a few of the common signs and behaviours that you may experience when you are codependent. First one, as I mentioned, is lack of boundaries. So as we just mentioned, codependent individuals, especially if you're an empath, can have weak or non-existent personal boundaries. You may have difficulty saying no, and you may find it challenging to assert your own needs, often prioritising the other person's needs above your own. You may have enmeshment. Now, enmeshment is when you feel responsible for the emotions, the choices, and the actions of the other person, and you'll often sacrifice your own needs in the process. This is very common for codependent relationships. All of a sudden, we start worrying about the other person and how they are and what their emotions are and what their choices are and how their choices are going to have consequences on them. And so, of course, enmeshment leads us to enabling and rescuing behaviour. So codependents may engage in these enabling behaviours, attempting to fix or control the other person's problems or unhealthy behaviours. And this behaviour can perpetuate the codependent dynamic and hinder the growth and autonomy of both individuals. It can lead to low self-esteem. Now, one thing I noticed after being a codependent for so long, and especially through my last karmic experience that finally ended this codependency once and for all, was my sense of inadequacy and low self-worth. Now, you may find yourself seeking external validation and rely on the approval of others to feel valuable or to feel a high level of self-worth. You may also become emotionally dependent. So codependents tend to rely heavily on the other person for emotional support and stability. Now remember, codependency doesn't have to just be with partners. It can also be with family members, friends, and even co-workers. And there are many parents out there that are codependent with their children and vice versa. You may become so emotionally dependent on the other person that you fear abandonment and you feel incomplete or lost without their presence or approval. And I have absolutely been there. This is something where, we may actually start to obsess over the other person. We may start to think about them non-stop, about how they are, what they're doing, what their life's like, and whether they approve of who we are. And this can cause us to become a people pleaser. So as a codependent individual, you most definitely will engage in excessive people pleasing to gain validation and to maintain your connection with this person. You may suppress your own desires and needs and prioritize the other person instead. Now, after being a codependent empath for so long and a nurturer at that, I know that there were many times that I exhibited people-pleasing behaviours with my children. I always put their needs above my own, and as long as they were happy, that was all that mattered. Let me tell you, this is a dangerous place to be because eventually you realise that they have all their needs met while you have none. And then finally, the fear of abandonment. So codependency, and I did mention this earlier, and codependency is often rooted in a deep-seated fear of being alone or abandoned. Codependent individuals may go to great lengths to avoid conflict or separation, even if it means sacrificing their own well-being. Now, codependency can have significant negative effects on both you and the other person in the relationship. You may experience feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and loss of personal identity. And as mentioned previously, you may become enmeshed in the other person's issues, neglecting your own needs and desires. Now, because of this, you may stop looking after yourself because your primary focus is on the needs of the other person and not yourself. And additionally, the other person may become overwhelmed or suffocated by the constant need for validation and attention, and they may end up resenting you and detaching from you emotionally. You think you're doing a good thing, but in fact, you're pushing them away even more. So what can we do? What can we do if we are codependent? How do we begin to break this cycle? Now, it's a massive topic and it's going to take many podcast episodes and a great deal of learning to truly break free of codependency. It's taken me a long time, but I'm going to give you 7 different things that you can do that will help you with breaking this cycle. Okay, number 1 is self-awareness and acceptance. So the first step in breaking the cycle of codependency is developing self-awareness. Take the time to reflect on your patterns, your behaviors, and your emotions in relationships. Recognize and accept that codependency exists in your life and acknowledge its impact on your well-being. Be compassionate towards yourself as you embark on this journey of healing and growth. And then I say educate yourself. Now, I always say that one of the best ways to heal is to educate yourself on the topic. Begin to gain a deeper understanding of codependency by educating yourself about its causes, its characteristics, and its effects. Read books, attend workshops, listen to podcasts, or seek professional help to learn more about healthy relationship dynamics, boundaries, and self-care. Knowledge and awareness are powerful tools in breaking the codependency cycle. Now, this is why I've created the Self-Empowered Empath brand, so that I may provide you with all the information that you need to be able to break these cycles and power up as an individual. Thirdly, set boundaries. And this is the toughest one for codependents, I believe. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is crucial in breaking codependent patterns. Clearly define your personal limits, your needs, and your values. Practice saying no when necessary and prioritize self-care. Setting boundaries not only protects your well-being, but it also promotes healthier dynamics in relationships. Then, as I just said, practice self-care. Prioritize self-care and nurture your own well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy, relaxation, and fulfillment. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental health. Cultivate self-love and self-compassion by practicing positive affirmations, engaging in mindfulness, and seeking support from the trusted friends, family, and therapists that you have. Number 5 is to develop autonomy and independence. So focus on developing your individuality and cultivating a sense of self apart from your relationships. Explore your passions, your interests, and your goals outside of the context of your partnership. Engage in activities that promote personal growth and discovery, and celebrate your accomplishments and build confidence in your abilities and strengths. Number 6, cultivate healthy relationships. Surround yourself with supportive and nurturing relationships. Seek connections with individuals who respect your boundaries. They encourage your growth and they value your autonomy. Build a network of friends, mentors, or support groups that understand and support your journey towards breaking free from codependency. Remember that breaking the cycle of codependency takes time, patience, and dedication. It's a transformative process that requires consistent self-reflection, self-care, and a commitment to personal growth. With persistence and a willingness to change, you can create healthier, more fulfilling relationships and reclaim your sense of self-worth and autonomy. And number 7, seek professional help. So consider seeking therapy or counseling to support your healing journey. A trained professional can guide you through the process of understanding and addressing the root cause of codependency. They can provide tools, techniques, and insights to help you develop healthier relationship patterns, enhance self-awareness, and heal emotional wounds. Now, if you are needing some one-on-one coaching, then I am there to help you to do that. And all you need to do is go to Spiritual Coach Jen Matthews. I have a package there for the Self-Empowered Empath brand where I can take you through some one-on-one coaching to really help you to power up as an empath. Book in for a free discovery call if you're interested in that. And Tara and I, we're looking at doing a mastermind. There's all sorts of really incredible stuff coming to help you on your journey. Okay, so there you go. I hope that you have received a lot of value from this podcast episode and that you have now learned how you can begin the process of becoming interdependent instead of codependent. Okay, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And until then, look after yourself. I'll catch you later. Bye.